الله وبركاته. الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونؤمن به ونتوكل عليه ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا. من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلله فلا هادي له. أما بعد فأعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. يا أيها الذين آمنوا أنفقوا مما رزقناكم من قبل أن يأتي يوم لا بيع فيه ولا خلة ولا شفاعة والكافرون هم الظالمون. صدق الله العظيم وبلغنا رسوله النبي الكريم ونحن على ذلك من الشاهدين والشاكرين والحمد لله رب العالمين. My dear respected listeners, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala did a great bounty to us when He sent the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Through the ways of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala taught the humanity the things that will gain the love and pleasure of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the most sure-shot, most foolproof of manners. Among the noble habits of the Prophet ﷺ, one very key aspect that we often tend to neglect in our lives is to have something that's called sakhawat. Something being, it's an Arabic term. Basically it means to be not miserly, to spend for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, to give to people liwajhillah, for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, for the pleasure of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The Sahaba ridwanullahi alayhim ajma'een have said, Kana Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam ajbad al-nas. The Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam was the most sakhi, the most jawad, the one who gives, the one who would give the most. And they have explained in several hadiths that there never ever in the whole life of the Prophet ﷺ has been even a single incident when somebody would have come to the Prophet ﷺ and asked for something and the Prophet ﷺ would have told them off. The Prophet ﷺ would have sent them away without giving that to them. So much so that at one point it comes in a hadith that there was 90,000 dirham, currency of that time. It's also used in some countries, Arab countries these days. 90,000 those coins were presented to the Prophet ﷺ. It was a huge amount even in that time. And what did the Prophet ﷺ do with it? The Prophet ﷺ in the masjid had spread out a piece of cloth and all of those were poured on it. And the Prophet ﷺ started distributing them. The Prophet ﷺ started giving them away. So much so that before the next prayer came, all of it was distributed away. All of it was given away. This was the sakhawat of our Prophet ﷺ. And the story does not end here. After all of it was gone, a person came and asked Rasulullah ﷺ for something. The Prophet ﷺ said that at this very moment I do not have anything to give you, but go and get a debt from someone, get a loan from someone on my behalf. On my behalf, go and ask somebody for something, and whenever I have something, I will pay off your debt to that person. Such was the habit of our Prophet ﷺ. The Prophet ﷺ has said that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, when you give something, even if you give only a small piece of date, only a date in the path of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala rears it, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala takes care of it, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala nourishes it just like you nourish your animals. So those people who have exposure to that, in our countries we may have seen that somebody who has a small baby goat or an animal, a pet animal, how they care for it, how they look after all of its needs, and then what happens? It grows into a full-grown animal. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala takes care, nourishes that small piece of sadaqah that you may have given, nourishes it and keeps on nourishing it till the day of judgment. So much so that it becomes huge, it becomes giant. The example in Medina of the biggest thing that the Sahaba could see was of the Uhud Bahar, the Mount Uhud. So if you are in Medina, if you are close to Masjid Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam, the only mountain that you can see, and in fact it used to be the biggest mountain of Medina. Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam gave the example that it becomes like this Mount Uhud. So when you meet Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala on the day of judgment, we'd be surprised how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala took care, gave value to that very small thing that we spent away in the path of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala thinking it was nothing. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will reward us as if we spent something huge. There's two things that should be remembered. One thing is that it is our misfortune that we think that when we have a lot of excess money, then we'll spend something in the path of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, if I remember the correct hadith, more or less to that subject, the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam one day said to the Sahaba that one dirham has taken precedence over, if I remember correct, 1,000 dirham. And the Sahaba said, Ya Rasulullah, what is the meaning of this? The Prophet ﷺ then explained that if a person is very rich and out of a corner of his wealth, he picks up 1,000 dirham and spends it in the path of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, compared to a person who only has 2 dirham, and he gives one of it in the path of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That one dirham, that 50%, half of his wealth that is spent in the path of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that has taken precedence over the 1,000 dirham that rich man spent. So one thing that we should keep in mind from these two hadiths, about the one about the date being spent and this one about the 1 dirham, should remember that whatever little, or if you have a lot, mashallah, subhanallah, is spent according to what you have. Spend according to what you have. It has been the noble habit of our Akabirin, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala fill their graves with nur, that they had made it a habit. Their habit was such that as soon as any money would come to them, they had fixed proportions. 5%, some of them 10%, directly will go to a place, will go to that wallet or that container or that whatever they had. Some of them, it comes that they had made shopping bags. They have bags. As soon as the money comes, 5% will go into that bag, 10% will go into that bag. So when we think about our Akabirin, our elders who had so much barakah in their life, we learn about our mashayikh that they, for the most part, it is a different test for everybody from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, but for the most part, most of them did not have a lot. If you look at them, they would not have a lot of personal wealth, but their life was so full of barakah that you read about them that they went to countries that we cannot even think about that we may not even have heard about. And they did such immense work of deen that we can only imagine, we can only think. There was this. Anyway, the time is less, inshallah, we'll conclude here in a minute or two. So one thing that we should keep in mind is that if we have less means, and even then we spend in the path of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that sadaqah, that giving in the path of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala carries much more reward and much more barakah. It is a reason for much more barakah in our lives than if we had tons of money and we spent a little. So if somebody is poor, even they should set aside a proportion. As soon as they get their salary, as soon as they get paid, 1%, 5%, 10% of their money, they should directly send it in the way of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Wherever you consider appropriate, in a masjid, in a madrasa, to help a poor person, to feed a poor person, to invite people to your house, and have a gathering of food for people. All those kind of things, my Hazrat Shaykh Dr. Mufti Imran Kalyani says that this, he said that it is my guarantee, and of course that is true from hadith, that you will never become qallash in your life. You will never ever will it happen to you that you run out of money or you become dependent on others. If you do this, try to bring this practice in your life. The other thing is that whatever we do should be with sincerity of intention. Should be with sincerity of intention. Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, if I remember correct, it is written from hadith that when you give something in the path of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, do it so secretly that even the hand that is giving, only that hand knows about it. Even the other hand does not get news about it. To explain that, do it very quietly, do it very secretly, only for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That kind of sadaqah gets amazing reward from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Of course, when there is a situation when you have to encourage others, when your giving in the path of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala publicly will be a source of encouragement for others, then of course it is permissible that you give it out publicly, but the best sadaqah is given secretly. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accept it, and may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grant us the tawfiq to act upon what was said. Ameen.